So the other thing, the only thing to keep in mind, people, is that if when you're losing weight, as long as you're making sure your calories are under what you're consuming, you're pretty much fine. Okay, you're pretty much fine. And again, we're talking on the scale here, where people, this is the scale we're talking on. This is why not one shoe kind of fits all. Okay, we're talking on the scale here of like, okay, here's someone who's severely underweight. Okay, someone on this scale, and you're right up here to someone who is like obese, barely can move. So depending on the scale where we're on this, guys. Okay, look, this is like, how could someone here do the same thing as someone here? They can't. The principle's the same, but again, I'm not trying to make this hard work, but what I'm saying is that this diet ain't going to work for this diet, and vice versa. This one's going to like not get anywhere. This one's going to gain too much, let's say. So we need to understand where you're at first. Because it's no good if you're here and I start giving you, okay, let's bunch a load of carbohydrates inside of you and start training. It's probably not going to be the best approach. Still might work. Same vice versa here. Let's take away all, let's take away all your carbohydrates and let's see how you get on. You see what I'm saying here? So again, we just need to understand where on the line you are currently at. Okay? And this can vary. And again, if you do have to cut some carbohydrates out your diet, guys, just to get to where you need to be, just remember it's not forever. Not forever. It's going to be to a point where you're going to lose all this weight. Then you might go, I want to build some muscle because I've lost some weight, but I've lost some muscle in the process. You're going to need some carbohydrates. But again, it's going to be controlled in a fashion where it's like, okay, this is going to be allowed. So I'm going to train either like tomorrow, and then it's going to be stored. It's glucose, it's glycogen, like I said before, and it's going to be used to build the muscle. It's going to help. It's going to help my muscles contract. Because that's the key word. Carbohydrate is hydrate. Carbohydrate. Yeah, and it also has a muscle sparing or protein sparing. It's called. If you didn't know that, guys, carbohydrates spare your protein. You can look this up. Yeah, carbohydrates have a muscle sparing properties. So if you ever wondered, you could type in, does carbohydrate preserve muscle? It'll come up with, yeah, they have muscle. That's why it's called protein sparing. That's what carbohydrates entail, which is the fun thing about that when, when gaining muscle and stuff. They do have a preserving benefit. So again, if we're on this scale, being severely underweight to severely overweight, if let's say we're just like somewhere here, we're just kind of like, okay, look, we're getting a little bit of weight. We're getting a little bit of weight, and we're like, oh, okay, I need to do something now because it's like I'm getting a little bit of out of shape, getting a bit of belly on me and stuff like that, and I'm like, okay. And let's say that we figure out your daily maintenance of calories is what. Let's go back to the, we go back to the 3,000 calories approach. Okay. So, and again, this is going to help because I'm talking about losing weight now. Okay, that's what I'm talking about specifically. We don't want to cut this too short because it's going to be, we don't want to cut it too quick. We don't want to drop to 3,000 to 2,000. Too much of a drop. Because one thing is going to happen is you're going to be starving, that type of training. So we only want to cut that, say, by about 200. Cut that about, say, 200, and then with the cardio and stuff, you may adapt another 100 or so plus. So now we're going to get to say no less. I would say don't drop any less to start than 2,700, just to start moving. Then eventually, when you hit a plateau, we can adapt that. We can change that. Okay. So out of those, normally this is the perfect scenario if you're incorporating weights as well. Yeah. If you're incorporating weights as well, I can get rid of this now. We know what we're doing there. Okay, so if we incorporate weights as well, what's the ratio? What we're doing? Okay, because obviously we're going to get the calories from carbs. Let's just do pro and then fats. Okay, what's the perfect ratio? Okay, good rule of thumb is this. If, like I say, you're on that scale, this one is recommended by all dietitians, or close to. Okay? We want 60% of your diet is going to come from carbohydrates, 30% from protein, and 10% from fats. Now, everyone's going to go, that seems like quite a lot of carbohydrates. Yeah, it is. Okay, but I'm allowing for that muscle. I'm saying like you're going weight training, like say 3 or 4 times a week. But again, you may cycle your carbohydrates, certain things like that, or you might do some like fasting, let's say, stuff like that's still going to keep you burning fat and building at the same time. This is how you do it. This is it. This is the trick. This is the secrets, if you like. Because not every day you're going to require this. Some days you can swap this. You can say, okay, I'm going to do 60% protein, 30% this. Or maybe a bit more fats, let's say. But this is like a rule of thumb. Don't take that as like, oh God, he's saying he's going to require this. Again, we assume carbohydrates. I'm talking about donuts, cakes, Mackies. I'm not talking about that kind of carbohydrates. I'm talking about the slow-release, healthy carbohydrates. I'm talking about the brown rice, your sweet potatoes, your whole grains, your vegetables. They are carbohydrate source. Don't forget that. I'm talking about the healthy stuff. And before you know it, 60% is not hard to hit, especially when you include vegetables, which the carbohydrate is in the form of, fiber, which is different. But I allow that for the carbohydrate still, even though it doesn't act as a carbohydrate in the body. Do you know what I mean? Sorry, hold on. I just need to press this really quick. Thank you. But again, I allow that for carbohydrates, so it seems like a lot. But realistically, it's not. Like I say, once you allow all them kind of things, but this is the good ratio for that. Now, if I'm on the other end of the scale, and again, what we're going to do, the only thing that changes, again, this stays the same. The only thing that changes is the total calorie. And eventually, you're going to drop that to say, like, you stop getting results, you shave another 200 off, but you still keep this ratio. Okay? So let's say you don't do let's say you're going to do, like, you're taking 2 days off, you're going to swap this ratio. So all we're doing now is just swapping. This is, like I say, this is the hobs that are constantly on, It's like, okay, I'm doing weights in tomorrow or the next day. You're going to also carbohydrates beforehand, the night before, a couple of days before even. Because again, the body stores this as glycogen in the muscle to contract. That's what it is. Your body's going to store the glucose as glucose. Doesn't matter if the carbohydrates are in the form of a potato, a chocolate bar, sweets, candy. All carbohydrates have to turn to glucose once they go into the body. That's how